Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I am Danielle, aka Stitcherista here on YouTube, and today is a diamond paint with me while I continue working on Treasure Studios art Cherry Blossom by Lizzie Falcon. So today is Tuesday, September 28th, and I had off work yesterday and had off work today. If you did not watch my cross stitch vlog, many participants for the arbitration either came down with COVID or have pneumonia. I mean, everyone's sick, it seems. So they decided to cancel the dates for the arbitration this week. We have it all 5 days next week. And so we have a regular work week this week, but my boss is still getting over COVID. So we have not worked today or yesterday. And I did do some work yesterday, though, on the job they had Friday when I was at the retreat. And so I made a little bit of money. But I'm enjoying the time off because I know next week, you know, it's going to feel like we didn't have time off, right? 5 days of the arbitration in a row, that's going to be an exhausting week. But it is what it is. So, in the mail yesterday, you'll have to watch my cross-stitch vlog on Saturday. In the mail yesterday, I did get my Lowry table clamp from Tinsmith's wife. Now, it must have been the gods aligning when I ordered this. I ordered it at the retreat on Friday morning. And it said they only had one available. It shipped Saturday morning, and I received it yesterday. That was impressive. That was impressive as far as, turnaround time. And when I went to link it, because as I do my cross-stitch vlog clips every day, I try to link the products that I use. They don't even have it on their site anymore. So I know that everywhere else, like Fire Poppies, which is where I bought the corner clamp that you actually fit your Q-snap or whatever into. I bought that from Fire Poppies, and Fire Poppies makes you get put like on sort of a wait list for the table clamp. Now, the table clamp works fantastic here on my little table from the side. So if you watch my cross-stitch vlog, I will be demonstrating that and showing you. It's so fantastic. I used it last night while I stitched, and I absolutely love it. So that was probably the best purchase I've made in a long time. And I actually think, I might take the table clamp with me in December when I go to the retreat. Or, I'm going to have my Dubco stand. So we'll see. We'll see. I've already made a spot out in my crafting area for the Dubco stand and the Velki Pataki, so I can have both of them just sitting there for when I want to use them. And I am done with the big purchases. Oh my God. I literally have spent so much here lately. Okay. And then yesterday, I got home Sunday from the retreat, and I don't know if when you travel, at least when I travel, it's exhausting when you come back. Thank God I had brought my laptop so I could have done I did all my computer work and everything. So when I came home, I'm not on the computer for 6 hours, but when I came home, because I got home I left there at about 6:45 a.m. I was home about 9:30-ish. I was exhausted. I did laundry, and I had the forethought too to take a shower the night before so I wouldn't feel like I had to take one when I came home. And I'm glad I did that too, because I literally sat. I finished a book, but sat most of the day on Sunday once I got home, and laundry and all that good stuff. And then I had Monday to, decompress, which was nice. I will not have that luxury in December. We have the arbitration right when I come back from that retreat. But so yesterday I'm going along, I got up and did all the house stuff and took a shower, got myself ready, did all that kind of good stuff. And I had to go to the bank because we got a refund from the dentist from when Bill had a dental visit. So I had to deposit a check. And I went out to go to the bank. You're going to love this. I went out to go to the bank at like 1:30 in the afternoon. I was planning on going to like the main branch, which is around the corner from Chick-fil-A. I was going to get a lemonade. Well, there's only one way in and one way out on our street. And I talked about this in the cross stitch vlog. So if you watch that too, you're going to hear this story again. I go to the end of the street and there's a line of cars and I see all of these vehicles, like utility vehicles, like blocking the road on both sides. No one's getting anywhere. And I thought, all right, well, I don't have to go to the bank this very minute. And I'm of the firm belief that things like that happen for a reason. I wasn't meant to be on the road and going to the bank. So I just turned around and came back home. And I forget what I was doing. I think I was kitting up because I started the new cross stitch project. I put Phoenix away for the time being and I wanted to stitch something Halloween. So I was fooling with that, getting the fabric and all of that kind of stuff. And my stepfather calls me and he says, "Have you talked to your mother in the last hour?" I'm like, "No." He's like, "Well, okay, so I don't know if I've talked about this on my channel, but I have a cousin that is early 30s. My mom had two siblings, my aunt who passed away 5 years ago, and my uncle who lives in my mom's basement apartment. So my uncle never had children, but my aunt had a son who is part Caucasian, part African American. And he's always been in trouble. And once he reached adulthood, he was a drug addict for a long time. So he's been in and out of jail. He caused my grandparents a lot of stress and grief after my aunt died, to the point where my grandfather basically disowned him and he wasn't allowed to come to the house. He had actually broken into their garage at one point and, stealing stuff. I mean, it was bad, right? But he finally had a choice. Either I'm pretty sure this is how it went. You either go to rehab or you're going to prison. And he chose rehab. So he has been clean for 16 months. And he lives in a halfway house. And he has a job at some lab, like processing blood or processing something. But my mom has been in contact with him through Facebook. And she let him know when my grandparents passed. And so she has been in contact with him here and there. Because, he has no other family but us. His father is still living, but he hardly has any contact with him. So all of that to say, when my stepfather called me yesterday, he says, "Yeah, so-and-so," I'm not going to say my cousin's name, but he says, "So-and-so is supposed to go over, your mother's to pick up some stuff from your grandparents that she wanted to give him, like pictures and stuff." And he said, "I've been trying to call her and she's not answering her phone, so I'm concerned." Okay, well, yeah, I can kind of see the concern, right? So I said, all right, well, I'll ride over there. I live 10 minutes from my mother. So I get off the phone with him and I try to call her and she doesn't answer. And I said, all right, I'm getting in the car. And not remembering about the street being closed. And I thought, oh, Christ, please don't let the road be closed. But luckily it was opened up. So I'm halfway to her house. And mind you, I grabbed the check because remember, I still got to go to the bank. So I'm halfway to her house when my stepfather calls and says, everything's fine. She was outside talking to him. Her phone was in the house. Okay. Well, then he wants to talk about my sister, about school and all kinds of stuff. So I'm on the phone with him while I'm heading to the bank. My mom beeps in. I said, well, that's mom calling, Okay, fine. He said, okay, I'll talk to you later. So I pick up with her and she's like, did you want something? I said, no. I said, Chuck, that's my stepfather. I said, Chuck called me and was concerned. I was riding over your house. And she was like, oh my God. So then she was telling me about the visit with my cousin. And yeah, I was on the phone for the whole time I went to the bank. Deposited the check by ATM, all that. I did get the lemonade, but oh my God, Chick-fil-A was busy like it was a Saturday. And then when I came home, Bill had stained our deck when I was gone at the retreat, and he had let it dry over the weekend. So we put all the stuff back on our deck, and we actually ordered a fire pit. He's been wanting a fire pit for a while. And I told him I recommend Wayfair because everything I've bought from them has come packaged very, very well. And we found one on sale for $100. And it's nice. So I can't wait to get that. And I mean, after today, it's supposed to be like 82 degrees here today. After today, it's in the 70s. So at night, it's going to be like in the 50s. So that's perfect, like bonfire weather, right? Fire pit weather. So looking forward to that this weekend. And soon we'll be opening up our hot tub. Oh my God, I can't wait. Especially with the arbitration. Like my body is usually hurting by the end of that day. So it will be really nice to be able to get in that at the end of at the end of the day. And then this morning, so, I knew I was off today. I did have work yesterday, a little bit of stuff to do. I did that. It took me like 2 hours, not a big deal. Today I was like, all right, I'm going to get up. I'm going to record this voiceover. I'm going to get this video up. I'm going to do my nails. I'm going to blah, 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 So I decided to clean the house a little bit, which I'm glad I vacuumed, wiped down the bathrooms really quick, which reminds me I need to clean the mirror in the bathroom. Okay. Wash the towels and the rugs in both bathrooms, that kind of stuff. But this morning before I got out of bed, my plan was to get up, put laundry in, and then get a cup of coffee, get back in bed, read some of my book, because the laundry room is right next to my bedroom, so I can hear when the washer's done and all that. Well, my stepfather calls me. I'm on the phone with him for an hour. And then my dad had beeped in. I hadn't talked to my dad since last week. My dad beeped in, and I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to have to call him back. So I finally get off the phone with my stepfather. Bill had called first, so I talked to him. And then I called my dad. I swear my morning, like 3 hours, I was on the fucking phone. I hate the phone. But I don't mind the phone so much when I'm not working. When I'm working and someone calls me, like my mom or my stepdad, and they want to chat, and it's like half hour, I'm like, I hate to cut them off, but I'm like, I can't talk right now, right? So today, every Tuesday, my stepdaughter and her boyfriend come over for dinner, so we are getting Chipotle, and I need to actually look at their menu because I usually get like their bowl. I think I want something different. Yeah, so I need to figure that out. And I'm just waiting for the corner clamp to get here, and my Dubco stand is coming today. Let's go. So I was hoping that would come, like it's coming through the regular mail. I was hoping it would come today before Bill got home so I could do a video unboxing it. I may have to do that video tomorrow though. We'll see about that, but I'm very excited to get that and to unbox that and see how that goes. But if you can get your hands on the Lowry table clamp, highly recommend. Okay, enough chatting. 13 minutes later. So today's story is an unexplained mystery. We like these, but we don't like them because at the end there isn't going to be a resolution, right? We're not going to really know what happened. So this one is called Yesterday's News. Just before 5:45 a.m. Oh, I also want to reiterate. I realize with this channel, and this has taken me a long time to come to terms with this, I am not going to ever please every single person that watches this channel. It's not possible. Because what happens is when I do stitching videos, the diamond painting people come in and say, I miss your diamond painting videos. When I have diamond painting videos going up, oh, I miss your cross stitch videos. So I can't win, right? And I say that because I had someone comment, because last week was like all cross stitch. I had filmed a whole bunch of stitch with me's. This week is all diamond painting. I recorded like 4 diamond painting videos last week that I am putting these voiceovers to this week. And I'm probably going to be diamond painting this afternoon. So whenever I sit down, I usually turn on the camera. I'll record it because it's pre-recording for a voiceover. But just to say, please be patient, because I'm never going to just do cross stitch. I'm never going to just do diamond painting. I'm going to be incorporating both. And you also have to remember, under normal circumstances, I had off last week and I have off mostly this week, I'm working a full-time job on top of this channel. So I think I'm doing a fucking fantastic job at managing it, because putting out a video almost every single day, I put out a video most times 6 days a week, on top of my full-time job, on top of my marriage, on top of my household. Okay, so enough of me on my soapbox about that. All right, so just before 5:45 a.m., on the morning of September 5th, 1982, 12-year-old Johnny Gosch snuck quietly out of his house in the suburb of West Des Moines, Iowa. Johnny had a paper route delivering the Sunday edition of the Des Moines Register. Usually he would wake his dad, John Sr., who always insisted on accompanying him on his rounds, but today Johnny had decided to let his father sleep in. His companion would be the family's miniature Dachshund, Gretchen. Oh, that's what we had, a mini Dachshund. Oh, Layla, puppy. Pulling his red wagon and with a canvas bag slung over his shoulder, Johnny arrived at the delivery van at around 6 a.m. He and another paper boy then began folding newspapers and stuffing them into their delivery bags. While they were doing so, a motorist stopped and asked for directions. A short while later, the boys set off, walking in opposite directions to make their deliveries. After making his first drop, the other boy looked back along the street and saw Johnny talking to a man. Was this the motorist they had spoken to earlier? The boy couldn't be sure. The early morning half-light hindered his vision. In any case, neither Johnny nor his dog seemed distressed. The conversation appeared entirely cordial. Satisfied that nothing was amiss, the boy headed towards his next drop. About a half hour later, at the Gosch residence, John Sr. was awakened by a ringing phone. It was one of Johnny's customers complaining that his paper hadn't been delivered. Concerned, John Sr. went looking for his son and soon found Johnny's wagon, still full of papers, abandoned on the sidewalk. Gretchen, meanwhile, remember the dog, had made her own way home. She was waiting at the door when John Sr. got back to the house. He was hoping to find his son there, hoping that there was some logical reason why Johnny had abandoned his deliveries. But Johnny hadn't come home. At around 8:30 a.m., Noreen Gosch, Johnny's mom, called the police. Yeah, because that would be out of character, right? His wagon's abandoned, all of that. But the response from law enforcement was hardly what the distressed parents were expecting. For starters, it took 45 minutes for an officer to arrive at their door. Then they were told that there was a mandatory 24-hour waiting period before they could file a missing person report. The protocol in 1982, remember this is 1982. The protocol in 1982 was different than it is today. Rather than launching an immediate search, the police wasted valuable time grilling the Gosches about Johnny's habits and behavior. The gist of their inquiries came down to one thing: has your son ever run away before? Eventually, by the afternoon, 30 officers were brought in to carry out a search, assisted by friends and neighbors of the Gosch family. But when a distraught Noreen suggested bringing in the FBI, the lead investigator was emphatic that that was not going to happen. We do not consider Johnny to be in danger until you can prove that he is, he told the parents. In the meantime, a promising lead had come in. A neighbor of the family reported that he had seen Johnny talking to a stocky man. According to the neighbor, they were standing beside a blue two-toned Ford Fairmont with Nebraska plates. Another neighbor, John Rossi, also saw the man in the blue car and felt there was something strange about him. However, neither of the witnesses could recall the plate number of the vehicle, and the lead eventually fizzled out. So too did every other scant clue that investigators chased down in the case. Johnny Gosch was gone. It was almost as though he had never existed. It is impossible to imagine the anguish of a parent in a case like this. The death of a child is a terrible tragedy, but at least there was closure, a chance to grieve, a chance to slowly rebuild the semblance of a life. In the case of a missing child, none of those scant consolations are available. The grief, the anxiety, the sense of helplessness is constant. Is he alive? Is he suffering? Is he being abused and maltreated? These were questions that haunted Noreen and John Gosch every minute of every day. All they wanted was their son back safe and sound. Even the news that they dreaded, the news that Johnny had been found and that he was dead, would be better than this purgatory. Yeah, I understand that. The Gosches, though, were not passive in their suffering. They were not going to sit around doing nothing while the police blundered through the investigation. A month after Johnny's disappearance, they established the Johnny Gosch Foundation to help fund private searches for their boy. They were also involved in the establishment of the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. Wow, really? Aside from that, they authored the Johnny Gosch Bill and saw it passed into Iowa law on July 1st, 1984. This mandated immediate police response when a child was reported missing. Just 43 days after it entered the statute books, the new law would be put to the test. The disappearance and probable abduction of 13-year-old Eugene Martin was a near exact replica of the Johnny Gosch case. Like Johnny, Eugene was a paper boy delivering the Des Moines Register to earn pocket money. On the Sunday morning of August 12, 1984, he left home at around 5 a.m. to make his drops. Usually his older stepbrother would accompany him, but on this day he went alone. He was seen talking to a clean-cut, 30-something white male sometime between 5:45 and 6:05 a.m. in an exchange that witnesses called friendly. Then Eugene Martin, like Johnny Gosch, simply disappeared. His delivery bag was found discarded on the sidewalk at around 6:15 after the route manager received complaints of undelivered papers. This time, at least, the response by law enforcement was swift and emphatic. Officers flooded into the area and the FBI was immediately informed of a possible kidnapping. By 8:40, a full-scale search was in progress. Unfortunately, it did not find Eugene nor any clue as to his whereabouts. Like Johnny Gosch, he was simply gone. Despite the investigative efforts of the Des Moines police, despite the massive resources of the FBI, and despite a $94,000 reward for information, neither boy would ever be found. I can't even imagine. For the Martin family, for Eugene's parents, Donald and Janice, the nightmare had only just begun. The Martins adopted a more pessimistic view than that taken by Johnny Gosch's family. As the months and years passed, they accepted that Eugene was probably dead, that the predator who had taken him had most likely ended his life. But the loss of their youngest son destroyed Donald and Janice. Until the day of his own passing, Donald Martin would meticulously scan the newspapers every day, cutting out clippings of anything that might have some tenuous connection to his lost son. The Vietnam veteran died a broken man in December 2010, never knowing the answer. His wife, Janice, had passed a few months earlier. So, what happened to the Des Moines paperboys, and was the same person responsible for their disappearances? The answer to the latter is probably yes. The MO, the victim profile, the proximity of the crime scenes, the suspect seen talking to the boys all support that hypothesis. The answer to the former question, though, is more ambiguous. While Johnny and Eugene were almost certainly taken by a sexual predator, there have been suggestions over the years that they were not killed but held captive by some sort of pedophile ring. Much of this narrative has been driven by Noreen Gosch, who insists that she has photographs and a visitation from her now adult son to prove it. What? According to Noreen, she was awakened by knocking at her apartment door early one March morning in 1997, so 15 years after Johnny's disappearance. A glance at her bedside clock told her that it was 2:30 a.m. I don't think I'd be answering the fucking door at 2:30 a.m. Pulling on a dressing gown, Noreen went to answer the persistent knocking. Two young men stood in the corridor. One of them she recognized immediately. It was her son, Johnny, now 27. What? Lest there be any doubt as to his identity, He opened his shirt to reveal a birthmark he has on his chest. According to Noreen's account, Johnny and his companion came inside, and she spent about an hour and a half talking with her son. The other man was never introduced to her, and he never spoke a word. Noreen did form the opinion, though, that Johnny deferred to his companion. On a number of occasions, he looked across to the other man as though seeking approval. What the fuck? Noreen Gosch would later publish the details of this early morning conversation in a self-published book titled Why Johnny Can't Come Home. The claims she makes in this manuscript are both bizarre and sensational. Noreen states unequivocally that there is a national network of pedophiles, Satanists, and occultists involved in the kidnapping, molestation, torture, and murder of children. These individuals are also involved in drugs, child pornography, sex slavery, and the production of snuff films. Oh my God, have you ever seen that movie with Nicolas Cage called 8mm? Ooh. Kidnapped children are passed readily between these degenerates, she claims, sold to the highest bidder. She also alludes to a high-level cover-up, claiming that the FBI tried to block the TV show America's Most Wanted from airing a segment on her son's case. As to the title of her book, she claims that Johnny has now been released by the group since he has grown too old for their tastes. However, he lives in fear of his life and therefore has chosen to remain in hiding. You know, you gotta think she's telling the truth. Why would she make all that up, right? Whatever you may think of these claims, it is clear that Noreen Gosch believes them. In September 2006, she was back in the news after she posted some disturbing images on her website. One of the photos shows 3 boys bound and gagged. Another shows a young boy with a gag in his mouth, his hands and feet tied, and what looks like a brand mark on his shoulder. According to Noreen, this picture is of her son Johnny at age 12, shortly after he was abducted. The photos, she claims, were dropped on her doorstep in an unmarked envelope. These pictures, however, would turn out to be a hoax. What? On September 13, 2006, the Des Moines police received an anonymous letter confirming as much. The pictures apparently were of 3 boys from Tampa, Florida, challenging each other to an escape contest. It dated back to 1979 and had already been investigated by the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office. No wrongdoing had been established. This would later be confirmed by the detective who worked the case, but Noreen remains unmoved. She still insists that the boy in the picture is her son. It would be heartless to begrudge a grieving mother that glimmer of hope. The investigations into the disappearances of Johnny Gosch and Eugene Martin remain open with the Des Moines Police Department, but these are difficult cases to solve, devoid of clues, devoid of evidence or witnesses, not a bone, not a fiber, not a smeared fingerprint. Retired Des Moines PD Detective James Rowley, a veteran of over 200 homicide investigations, calls it the case I'll take to my grave. I feel like every cop has like a case like that, right? Rowley has chased down tips all over the country and has pursued leads as far afield as Mexico and Canada. He remains as much in the dark as the rest of us. So bizarre, though. Like, it's not that the boys were taken as bizarre, because that stuff happens all the time. The mother's encounter with him, that was bizarre. I don't know. I don't know. What do you guys think? That's so weird. So bizarre. All right, let's find a positive affirmation because I need somewhat of a brain cleansing from that. Although I have to say, I watched last night when I was stitching, I watched a Lifetime movie called Sorority Sister Killer. It was actually really good. I really like those Lifetime movies. I've watched so many of them, and they're like an hour and a half. It's like you can... it's a good, like, I don't have to pay like close attention, meaning I can stitch and still watch it. I watch it on my iPad. I really like them. And it's entertainment. You know what I mean? Okay. This is a quote from Mr. Rogers. I need to read that book, The World According to Mr. Rogers, Important Things to Remember. Did you guys see the movie with Tom Hanks? I liked it, but it was not what I expected. I don't know what I expected, but okay. So he is quoted as saying, "Who you are inside is what helps you make and do everything in life." Absolutely. Yeah, I want to read that book though. He wrote the book. The book was released in 2019. I forget when he died. I'm going to put the sample on my Kindle. And maybe we could read out of that for the affirmations. We'll see. But yeah, obviously, who you are inside is what helps you make and do everything in life. Because, you know, obviously, it comes down to us inside, who we are as people, right? Our character. Yeah. So I hope you guys are all having a great Tuesday. As always, if you have any questions, please leave them in the comments section below and I will answer them to the best of my ability. Thank you so much for watching and subscribing, and I will see you in my next video. Bye, guys.